This is Eswatini TV News at 8 live from Babane. I am Notile Sithole alongside Makabiso Nkambule. First up, here's a look at top stories. Deputy Prime Minister Honourable Thuli Dladla says government is working tirelessly to close existing societal gaps. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Prince Similane, has toured His Majesty's Correctional Services Centre in Tlangano. Preparations for the inauguration of the first session of the 12th Parliament are fully underway, where His Majesty King Eswatini III is expected to officially open the Parliament. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Thuli Dladla, says government is working tirelessly to close existing societal gaps which leave women and the youth in developmental and economic disadvantage in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister said this during the signing ceremony of financial agreements for projects that will be implemented by government and non-governmental organizations. The ceremony was held at Eswatini College of Technology and the agreement is to the tune of 557 million in Manangini.
It is unfortunate, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, that women and youth are a greater percentage of the national development of the national population, with 52% women and 79% youth. However, these groups remain the most underrepresented of the population in both economic and political sector. Pervasive unemployment, underemployment, and longer school to work transitions are some of the most significant challenges experienced by women and the youth population.
The European Union Ambassador to the Kingdom of Eswatini, Her Excellency Desislava Chomelova, says through consultations, they deemed it fit to support programs that are aimed at human development and social inclusion to empower women, youth and other vulnerable groups with, amongst other things, market-driven vocational education and training. Her Excellency says this would enable them to be employable and also start their own businesses.
The EU unwaveringly supports Eswatini to achieve these major goals. Our cooperation is mainly channeled through our programs in the country, implemented by various international, UN and local organizations, and these programs are always very much aligned with the National Development Plan and the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Thuli Dladla, was together with the Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Honourable Dr. Tambo Gina, and Minister of Education and Training, Honourable Owen Nxumalo, whilst non-governmental organizations were represented by the Director of the Coordinating Assembly of Non-Governmental Organizations, Thembinkosi Dlamini. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Mbongwa Dube with Vuminkosi Nzinisa in Babane.
In Eswatini, over 7,193 from 6,426 households were affected by the heavy rains and hailstorms that hit the country in December 2023, and 2 hailstorms that hit the Manzini and Shiseleni region in the beginning of this month. The Deputy Prime Minister, Thuli Dladla, says from the December 8th devastating hailstorm that caused extensive damage, 6,521 individuals have been provided immediate relief with the collaboration of the National Disaster Management Agency, Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society, as well as World Vision Eswatini.
The assessment revealed that the storm affected 6,298 households, 78 businesses, and 27 educational facilities. However, 53 injuries were reported and 14 individuals were temporarily displaced. As of January the 22nd of 2024, the NDMA has assisted 684 people through the rehabilitation of 114 houses that were damaged by the hailstorm. On January the 11th, the Kingdom of Eswatini was once again severely impacted by a storm event within the Mazini region, experiencing the worst of its effects. Initial rapid assessments revealed that the storm severely affected 349 individuals from 57 homesteads. The following day, January the 12th, another storm event hit the Shiselweni region. Preliminary rapid assessment results indicate that a total of 323 individuals from 71 households were severely impacted by the storm. The NDMA is responding to the affected communities, working with the Inkundla Council and community-level structures.
Mafutseni, Member of Parliament Sabelo Mtsetwa, appreciates the government for assisting some of the affected individuals.
All Emaswati who were affected by the storm will eventually get assistance. I plead for patience from those who are still waiting for the government to assist. I understand their situation. They have been without shelter over their heads for quite some time now, but I can promise them that something is being done. I appreciate His Majesty King Mswati III for assisting Emaswati.
Some of the immediate relief includes 1,300 tarpaulins and 5 tents offering temporary shelter to those affected. The storms caused significant damage to homes, furniture, motor vehicles, businesses, and adversely affected critical structures as schools and healthcare facilities. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Uthemba Shabangu Mbabane.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Prince Simelane, has toured His Majesty's Correctional Services Centre in Nhlangano and the Nhlangano Magistrate Court to familiarise himself with the operations of both institutions. The Minister has noted that the Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre has surpassed its maximum inmate capacity.
The Minister began his tour at Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre, where prominent arrest includes, among others, theft-related cases amounting to 41%, followed by SLTV cases making up 14%. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Prince Simelane, says he has discovered that the current number of inmates are way beyond the maximum capacity of the Correctional Services Centre.
Sesibonile inkinga talapha bongosi siphinde sinikhalele ukuthi hey uqala bongosi eveni indlela nani nisebenza kusuku anilali solontikati indzaba buqale le asibuya khona nje correctional labantu sebaningi kakhulu kule nombolo efanele igcino.
The Minister of Justice was then led to Nhlangano Magistrate Court, where he was notified by the Senior Magistrate Joseph Dlamini that they received an order from the Municipal Council last year to shut down operations because the building is now a health hazard to both workers and the public.
Kepha lokuthi esibonele kona bongosi akusiko ukuthi umthoyi lobaluleke kangaka emhlabeni eveni kube bethu umthoyi ukuthi lesive ekani yini cha ngethemba ukuthi neportfolio stayiletha mhlawumbe ukuthi mathute esitobona iba nawo nayo emandla ukuthi ibone nayo ukuthi sibamba sithini.
As per designs, the maximum inmate capacity at Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre totals to 200 inmates. However, the centre currently has 352 inmates. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Thandokuhle Mdluli, Nhlangano.
Preparations for the inauguration of the first session of the 12th Parliament are underway, where His Majesty King Mswati III is expected to officially open Parliament. Clerk to Parliament Benedict Xaba says starting from today, stakeholders will have state opening meetings every Wednesday of the week until Parliament is officially opened.
On Wednesday, different stakeholders, including government ministries and departments which are critical in the official opening of Eswatini Parliament, met with an intention to ensure that this national event becomes successful. Clerk to Parliament Benedict Xaba elaborates.
We are aware that this is the first session of the 12th Parliament, which is very, very important for the country, so as it gives a policy direction. So I can say that as Parliament internally, we have done a preparation. I would say that we are already at 80% at this stage. So now we're getting inputs from other stakeholders. So we shall be continuing with these preparations for every Wednesday, but the public will be informed where we shall have a full briefing or a press release on the logistics of the day of the state opening and other things that will be done during the state opening. So this is a very, very important national event. As you know, that Parliament is the heart of the nation. So we are going to give our best to ensure that this one is better than the state opening of last year.
During the meeting, the stakeholders involved emphasized on the importance of communication during the planning stage in order to ensure a smooth national event. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Themba Shabang, Parliament.
The Teaching Service Commission is currently renewing contracts for 1,286 teachers. The Commission's Executive Secretary Nhlanhla Dlamini says by end of this week, the process will have been completed.
Towards the close of last year, government authorized the employment of 90 deputy head teachers, and the commission is seized with interviewing those deputies for both primary schools and high schools. Some of them are already at school working as we speak. Now we are also excited that now government has authorized now the renewal of about 1,286 contract teachers. The commission at the moment is working on those teachers so that come Friday and Monday next week, those teachers will be posted in all the different schools that we have in the country.
About 35 mango farmers have registered under the Eswatini Horticulture Information System administered by the National Agricultural Marketing Board, NAMBOARD. This was revealed by the Chief Executive Officer of NAMBOARD, Begizwe Mazia, during a workshop held at the George Hotel where small and medium mango farmers were in attendance. The aim of the workshop was to ascertain the amount of mango farmers produce annually, the kind of assistance they need, networking, as well as securing sustainable markets for them.
Presentations, contributions, suggestions have not gone into waste.
The submissions you have made here today will be taken seriously, and relevant structures will work on them with the aim of addressing all the issues, starting with the quick wins. It is clear to all that the registration of farmers under the AHIS program helps us identify farmers, their geographic location, the amount and type of produce they have, which is why we plead with those yet to register to do so.
In our international news, the South African police have arrested a man who confessed to having caused a fire that killed 77 people in an abandoned building in Johannesburg last year. This was said by the South African police spokesperson today.
According to the South African police spokesperson Tikamato Nivuhuli, the 29-year-old man whose name has not been released was arrested yesterday on 77 counts of murder and 120 counts of attempted murder. The man made his confession during a hearing of a special commission investigating the fire, which tore through an overcrowded 4-story building in the early hours of January 31 last year. The man is set to appear before the Johannesburg court tomorrow. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has met with the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, where they focused on enhancing trade relations and deepening democracy in West Africa. The Secretary of State is in Nigeria as part of his tour to the West African sub-region. After meeting with the President, Blinken is scheduled to visit Angola after visiting Cape Verde and Ivory Coast. On another note, a Russian military plane with 65 Ukrainian captive soldiers on board has crashed in the Belgorod region of Russia near the Ukrainian border. According to the Russian state media, all those on board were killed. The cause of the crash is not yet clear, and there are conflicting accounts about who and what was on board. Russia says 65 Ukrainian servicemen were on the plane being flown to Belgorod ahead of a prisoner swap. However, Ukraine's military said the plane was carrying defense missiles. The Belgorod region governor Vyacheslav Gledkov has said a Russian investigative team is at the scene of the plane crash. For Eswatini TV, I'm Bendulo Kumbi, visual sourced from France 24 and DW.
And now we'll have an ad break for the look at our financial indicators.
Today, you have a choice. How will you become future ready? Are you equipped to lead? How will you transform your career? Regent Business School empowers you with the leadership and entrepreneurial skills to disrupt, rethink, innovate, and be the future. Visit regent.ac.za to register today. It can be.
Welcome back, and moving on to sports. Mazini Wanderers Football Club captain Mlamuli Nkambule says as players they are still putting in endless effort in trying to fight for the team and avoid relegation. Nkambule says senior players have got to lead by example and bring back smiles on the supporters' faces.
They've been working very hard for training.
Mazini Wanderers captain Mlamuli Nkambule says despite the current situation of the team where they are struggling in the league and are already out of the Ngwenyama Cup, the team has been working hard daily in training session, where they train every day to try and bring back smiles on the supporters' faces. Mlaba says they do not want a repetition of last season when they nearly got relegated. He says senior players within the team have got a bigger role to play to ensure that the team does not get relegated this current season.
Newly appointed Nsingizini Hotspurs head coach Alexio Sejan has rated the club as one of the biggest clubs in the land with great ambitions both locally and internationally. The Zimbabwean mentor has so far won both games in charge of the club since getting appointed this month.
Like Nsingizini Hotspurs have reached the promised land these days when judged on the performance of the club, especially for the newly appointed head coach from the Republic of Zimbabwe, Alexio Sejan, who has now won both of his games since he got appointed this month.
Yeah, it's a big club. It's a big club with very big ambitions.
Speaking to Eswatini TV Sports Desk, coach Alexio Sejan rated Nsingizini Hotspurs as one of the big teams in the country with big ambitions and big plans both locally and internationally. Sejan says his mandate is to try and win the current Ngwenyama Cup knockout tournament and get a better position in the current MTN Premier League. Currently, Nsingizini are 8th in the league with 20 points, 7 points behind log leaders Green Mamba, with their next game being against Eswatini United on Saturday in Hlangano. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msondera, Mbabane.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our top stories. Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Thuli Dlala says government is working tirelessly to close existing societal gaps. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Prince Similane, has toured His Majesty's Correctional Services Centre in Hlangano. Preparations for the inauguration of the first session of the 12th Parliament are fully underway, where His Majesty King Mswati III is expected to officially open the Parliament. And with that, it's a wrap. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team. Many thanks for your company. Take care.
Today, you have a choice. How will you become future ready?